Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Alondra. I am excited to start this. Today, just for simple, I just want to show you guys kind of my everyday little thing that I do when I go to work or just somewhere out and I don't feel like going crazy on makeup, just because I want my skin to breathe, especially since I got like this humongous little zit right here. But yeah, so we'll go ahead and get started. Let me start by taking off my glasses, because obviously, like, you know, I can't do my eyeshadow and stuff with my glasses on. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with the Milk primer. I really like this primer. It's amazing. I need to restock, as you can see. So just a little bit, literally a little bit goes a long way. Dabbing that on my fingers and then putting it on my eyeshadow lids, mostly on the outside corner where we're going to be putting the most product, then blending it in and up. I'm going to be using the Modern Renaissance palette today, and then it has really neutral colors, so that way, you know, even if you don't have this palette, you probably have the soft browns, soft pinks, everything like that. So I'm just going to grab this little fluffy brush. This is the Morphe MB23. Nice little fluffy brush like that. We're going to be dabbing it into burnt orange, this second color right here. I feel like everybody uses it. Dabbing it, and then what I like to do is tap my excess off. Tap in first. And then slowly start blending. So okay, now we're done with this blending brush. We're gonna try to make it a little bit darker, not too crazy, but just slightly darker. So I'm gonna go in with this MAC 217, which is like the OG holy grail of YouTube. Like every YouTuber I used to watch when I first started into makeup was like MAC 217, MAC 217. All right, so today I want to go for like a pinky nudie lip. So I'm actually, instead of going into this darker brown, I'm going to dabble into the red ochre. I know it looks really dark, but that's why we're just going to lightly dab it in the tip. So don't put it all over the fluffy, but just in the tip of it. It's like just a tip. And like I said, the first thing is to blend, and then you can always add more. So we're just gonna touch it, literally light touch in the outer corner by your eyelashes. Start again just by dabbing it, that way you don't have a lot of fallout. Just dab, 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 and then I kind of lean back and I feel my socket, like where your eyeball like ends, I guess, and then I slowly go back and forth. So this time it's not like circle, it's swiping. Looking pretty good. And then I know like we're probably in a rush in the morning for work, so it doesn't have to be perfect. So this is where that brush we first used comes in hand. So this is where we blend it. Just see how you like it. I kind of want to add a little bit of that first shade, so I'm just adding a little bit more. And then the thing is, you can always go back, right? Doing the eyelid. And when we're doing simple looks, we don't want anything too shimmery, especially if we're going to do inner corner highlight. So I'm just doing this matte little white one. It's called Tempera. So with my finger, just tapping it onto my lid. And then I use a little bit too much, so just wiping that off or using a different finger, blending it out, tapping it in and blending it out. Then using the brush that we use for the second color, it just same thing, swiping just to blend very lightly. I actually want a little bit more, so I just slightly tapped it in just to add that extra. Alright, and then I just want a little bit more right here, so I'm just curving it around just to add that extra little color. Alright, now we're gonna move on to our face. Just getting, so same thing, the milk primer, just grabbing a little, just because we're not going to be using that much face product. So just tapping it on. So since we're just doing everyday quick work makeup, I don't really like to use foundation, especially since I'm at work for a long time. So I just like concealer. So just that concealer, I swipe off just a little bit. Then I go into my under eye, and this is the thinnest part of our face, so I don't like to use too much. Just like a couple of swipes, and then just right here to make sure it's clean. So I just grab a little bit of product. I put it behind my hand because I don't want to contaminate the brush. So I just grab a little bit, tap on the sides first. Ooh, got some in my hair. Tap around it first and then onto it. Around it and onto it. Alright, so I'm gonna be using the G2 brush from Morphe, as Patrick Starr put it, beauty blender on a brush. So just going into my concealer, just tapping it, and then with my nose, I do the middle because that's where I want the most product, but then I blend it down. Your face looks good. And then I just tap it in very lightly, not too much product. We're gonna set it in but blend out. Set it in but blend out. Now with that excess that I have, I'm just putting it anywhere else I put that concealer. Using the Morphe MB27, and then I'm just going to be using the same eyeshadows I used in the beginning. So first, going in with that first eyeshadow we used, again tapping into that, then I'm going to dab it I think it's so funny the faces we make when we do our makeup, which I try not to make faces because I don't want to be wrinkly. I'm really trying to be young forever. So now I'm like blending it again, not smoking it, just blending it. So try not to go too low. Alright, now we're gonna go in with the second color we use, the Red Orchid. Rubbing in. And we're only going to do this on the very outside of our eyes, just to accentuate, not to smoke out. So again, dabbing, and then connecting it to the top. Liking that. Now we're going to move on to the contour, and for contour I'll be using the Fenty Beauty in suede. So I mostly got this because of the name, if I'm being honest. Alright, so we're gonna do not necessarily a contour, but more so a bronzing up the face, bringing shadows, bringing more light to it. So I'm not gonna contour and bring it down here. I'm just gonna go ahead and leave it on the side. You'll see right now. And then I'm only gonna do on the middle part right here of on my nose, just to bring a shadow, not to contour or anything like that, but just to bring a slight shadow and bronze to it. And then for that, to blend this out, I'm gonna go ahead and use the this Real Techniques brush. Had for forever, but as you can see, it's very stipply, meaning it's not like one even flat. There's like different like layers to the hair. So then we're just gonna, same thing like we've been doing, blending in and spreading out, blending in and spreading out. I'm gonna use the corner of my brush to make sure it stays, you know, where I want it and it doesn't blend down too much. Since we did this little pink little pink vibe, I'm gonna go ahead and use the Fenty Beauty Sangria Sunset very lightly. So I'm just gonna grab literally just a little bit because Riri did not play. Alright, now we're just gonna, I'm gonna start at the top right here. Alright, and then bring it down. And then slowly circle. We're gonna highlight. So for my highlight today, I am going to use the Makeup Forever Pro Light Fusion highlighter. I'm going to be using this brush. This is by NYX. Someone gave it to my mom. My mom gave it to me. So I'm just going to dab in the highlight. Again, tap off the excess because we don't want it to be crazy. Then again, I'm not going to bring it all the way down here. I'm going to just leave it right here. Very light. Then I'm gonna do a little bit under my eyebrow and on top of the brow, just blending. It's, you know, like doing a nice little C. I'm also gonna use that to do my inner corner highlight. So for that, I'm gonna be using this Morphe M149, going in and then blending it out. Why is everyone out here? These streets are active. What happened to coronavirus? It's not stopping anybody in LA, let me tell you that. Okay. So for my eyebrows today, especially for natural looks, I like to use powder. That's like my OG trick. Everybody used to do that back in the day, was use eyeshadow before Anastasia Beverly Hills. I'm gonna use a nice little spoolie. Blend. Real Techniques brush. I love this brush. It's super duper thin and it's like perfect to feather out eyeshadow. use the Milk mascara. I love this mascara. I need to get another one. And then just because this is a simple look, just do a slight coat of them. So don't go too crazy with the mascara. I know we all want long eyelashes, but you don't want to mess up this nice look by making your eyelashes all clumpy. That is not the vibe. We're gonna move on to our lips. So I'm gonna use the NYX matte up liner in Los Angeles. Was good, LA baby. And then I'm just gonna line my lips. And now we're gonna add the gloss. So I'm gonna use the Sephora gloss in Gamma. And then just, I like to start in the middle and then blend out. This is the completed look. Let me get all up in your face. Very simple, very easy, look put together, glam but subtle. Just that girl at work, you know, anywhere you go. That bitch. Black Flower and Other Zapotec Poems by Natalia Toledo. So I'm gonna be reading her poem Black Flower, and then give my own little interpretation of it, and then in the comments down below you leave me what you think this poem means. So Black Flower. Let me put on my glasses. Also, this makeup is very glasses friendly. So Black Flower. Sorry. Black Flower. A girl lifts her laughter to the black leaves. Golden leaves open on a bare branch, so she can count the marks of desire. The leaves will tell her how many loves she'll have. For each blemish her finger counts, destiny will reveal a name. I think this poem is very representative of what today means and signifies for a lot of people. Indigenous women, we in a sense already have a destiny. Not saying we can't change it, but we do have a destiny of fighting against Western oppressive civilization. We have to fight every day to create our destiny. I think the first line, a girl lifts her laughter to the black leaves. I think we all have a bright and dark soul, which would be the shadow side, the darkness, which I don't think are necessarily bad, but I think, right, it's a balance of we need dark and light. And I think as Indigenous women, we're so willing to dive into the dark side because, first of all, we're strong enough to dive into the dark side, but I think we also are so familiar with it that we even give it our laughter. We create it as our own. But golden leaves open up, meaning regardless, we're gonna make light of it. You know, whatever situation we're in, we're gonna bring light. We're gonna bring that gold. And I think gold is also representative of what was taken from us, but that we'll always know is ours. On a bare branch, so she counts the marks of desire. I think that's very representative of the different things that we have that clearly, you know, the white Western world wants to take away. It's a desire they wish to take away. And we know these things. I think it's almost idiotic not to think that we know these things, you know? And then the leaves will tell her how many loaves she'll have. For each blemish her finger counts. Destiny will reveal a name. I think that's saying, you know, nature tells us our destiny. We are so in tune with nature. It is so much a part of us that it's gonna love us like no other. And in that love comes truth. You know, as she's saying, we know the truths of how many people are gonna love us, whether it be great love, bad love, whatever love. And with each finger, that we feel it. I feel like the fingers are representative of what we feel. You know, this tactileness of our soul and spirit that can feel things that aren't even visible or physical, but like love, right? It's not like well, it could be physical, but it's not necessarily something like this brush that I can hold, but I can feel it. And I feel like we just have this destiny in us that, you know, our ancestors left to us, our blood, our Mother Earth, our heritage left to us. And I think this black flower is very representative, as I mentioned, of the darkness that we have, that shadow side that we need, and how we can make it good, if that makes sense. I think it's just that we are the balance, and I think sometimes people are envious of that balance, but for that we're only gonna show more love. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I very much am resonating to this poem and everything that's going on. And I think considering what today is and remembering, you know, my sisters around me from north to south and what we go through, and that we're not alone in it, that will always, you know, bring hope, and that Mother Nature will always be there for us. But yeah, like I said, I hope y'all can take a moment to recognize the land that you're on, and recognize that this was on native land before. There's, you know, ways that you can Google what native land is this, and it'll let you know. And I think it's important, especially today, to take a moment to thank this land for allowing you to be a visitor on it. Take a moment to thank, you know, the indigenous folks who sacrificed so much for you to be on it. And remember to hold a place for those sacred women who are being murdered from north to south, east to west. So yeah, not to bring it down, you know, I know I got pretty deep, but I hope you do take that time. And like I mentioned, the light and the dark are together. They're a balance, and the dark doesn't have to be so ugly all the time. You know what I'm saying? Bring light to it, or make it darkness that, you know, can also heal you, and darkness that can also shadow you and protect you. I think that's a lot of what I do with my darkness. I make sure it protects me without harming others. But yeah, thank you for your time, and thank you for watching this and watching my video. A lot more to come. Thank you for joining the Thoughtful Cabrona mentality, to really be thoughtful but not take anything from anybody, and, you know, live your truth. But yeah, thank you. I hope you leave down in the comments what you interpret of this poem. I'll go ahead and write it in there just so you can go through it again one more time in the description box. But yeah, thank you again. Let me know any comments, questions, concerns, likes that you have of this video. Again, go ahead and like and subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you. Bye.